Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and we are over on, well, a new server on Fjordor, but I want to show you a special trick. Now this trick is going to teach you literally how to build yourself an infinite resources wall like you see behind me. It's really quite simple. This is all not gathered. This is provided by gachas. Every single last bit of this. Now, some things you're going to need to know. This is only something that's going to work for you in S+. So this is something that you have to have S+ for. So for those of you that are just like on an official server, I'm sorry, there are still ways to do this very effectively, but S+ just makes this whole process a infinite resources trick. You don't have to do anything. You just get the resources that you need. So how do you do this? How do you get yourself 1 million metal ingot without going to do anything? How do you get yourself 1 million of all these resources without literally doing a thing? It's pretty simple. Now it all starts with a few basic things that you're going to need. So if you go into your engrams, we're going to go ahead and start down the list because the most important thing that you're going to need, other than the gacha of course, is a crop plot. Very simple. Doesn't matter what kind of crop plot you use. I prefer large crop plots because you can stack them on top of each other. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that right now. It's pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and grab, let's just say 10 of these. Why not? And we'll go ahead and make them. I can only carry 3 because they're heavy. So this is the first step, pretty simple. You're going to grab this and you are going to push it as far as you can away from yourself. Now when you push it as far as you can away from yourself, it allows you to stack something directly on top of itself, like you see right here. I have a few hundred Y traps right here, and you can see that these are literally just stacked. So in order to do it, just like I said, you're literally going to look as far away as you can, just right there. And then click do not move, and you just keep clicking and it'll stack them perfectly on top of each other, just like that. Now in these, you're going to go ahead and place some plant species Y, because plant species Y to gachas count quite literally as the best thing that you can feed them, because it counts as a structure which allows the gachas to eat them at a much reduced rate and pump out a ridiculous number of crystals, like you can see up here. You can see all of these guys are just going to town. Now I would say per gacha you probably want to have about 20 of these things, Y seeds, and you'll be running these things all day and you'll never stop. You can hear the gachas up there just going to town. So starting off with that, you've got your gachas. You want to fill those gachas with your dung beetles. Now dung beetles provide fertilizer, and you use 2 different things over here in order to take care of this. Well, 3 technically. You use a farmer, you use a gardener, and you use a, where is he? Item collector, or poop brother. You can see this guy is only collecting poop. He takes the poop, and then your distributing options, you can see he takes them, and then you can choose what you want, and then he will distribute it automatically to your dung beetle when you set him up to do that. Now once you have your dung beetle, you're going to essentially take your farmer. Your farmer is going to, whether you use Kalian soup or a tech generator, is going to take fertilizer and then place it automatically into your crop plots, okay? So your crop plots are now automatically growing. Now there is more steps that you have to take to this. You have to add in some gardeners, because your gardeners are going to pick up whatever is in your crop plots or whatever you tell them to do, and they're going to put it in their inventory. Now they can't distribute this, so they can only pick it up. So what you have to do is you either have to use the S+ transfer tool, just like you see here, and do an advanced transfer of plant species Y traps, right there, from all structures, or you set something else up in order to transfer those into your gachas if you're early game, or if you're late game, you're going to transfer them into gacha scavengers. Now this button right here, I have it automatically set up to do that, but let's talk about what we mean when we say transfer this stuff into the gachas or gacha scavengers. Now, here's the thing with this. Gachas can only carry so much weight. Now, you can see this guy way higher than the weight he's supposed to be carrying, so that's something that's kind of good. We want that to be the case, because the gacha scavenger allows us to place much more weight on the gacha than he actually wants to be able to carry. And the gacha scavengers are these things like these pads you see beneath me, and they just like feed these gachas automatically. So early game, what you're going to do is you're going to set that button up, or you're going to set your transfer tool up just to put Y traps into the gachas. And as many gachas as you can have, obviously, the better off you are. So that's how you feed the gachas. Now, if you have a gacha scavenger like you see here, which is something that you can unlock later in the game, this will automatically feed it and basically just continue to feed him those Y traps. And you can hear these things just dropping all around me. So you can unlock the gacha scavenger at level 85. So this is a huge thing that you need to do basically immediately once you have access to tech, because this is ridiculous. So I'll show you what I mean by this. So we have the how to collect everything, right? So you can understand very quickly. It's not a difficult process. Once you set this all up, it takes a little bit of time to set it up. You just walk around and everything does the work for you. These item aggregators right here, what they will do is they will automatically collect all of these dropped gotcha crystals into their inventory, just like you see here. You can see it in all of them, they're empty. And then here's a cool setting on these guys. You can set them to distribute wherever you want to. Now, this is really, really useful for you because if you do have them set to distribute, what that's going to do is I have mine automatically placing things into my gotcha crystal crackers. So these aggregators are picking up the crystals from the gotchas in here and then distributing them into this right here, these crystal crackers. And that's a pretty easy setting. You just go to distribution options and then you just click the options that you want. Now you can also see there are others like options you can put in there, poop to dung beetles, all kinds of stuff. These things are amazing. You can set limits on these things. It's awesome. Now, here's the next thing. Now, unfortunately, the crystal cracker cannot actually do anything other than crack these crystals. You can upload the resources into your dedicated storage, which is how I'm just like constantly going upwards in stuff I have over here. But it doesn't actually do anything with the stuff like this, the actual things, once they crack them. So here's where the next part comes in. You are literally going to take your button here. This is how we get all of our, so you can see we have 400,000 plant species Y being put over there. This is my plant species Y button. And just to show you what this guy does, you can see set active transfers, edit transfers. That's how you get into that. We have a button here set up, or you use your transfer tool. And it takes everything that we have from inside of these crystal crackers and places it inside of our industrial grinders. Now with these industrial grinders, all we have to do is I have a button that is literally going to, go ahead and take this out. We just have to grind everything all the way down and make sure you use an S plus grinder because the S plus grinders make things quite a bit easier. And you can see it right there. They don't run on gas or anything like that, but we just got ourselves a ridiculous amount of resources. And then, so this is just one grinding session, 837,000 metal ingot. One grinding session, 873,000. So yes, this is how you make yourself a never-ending infinite farm. Now you have to do a little bit of work. Literally, once you get it all set up, you can see that I'm doing it right now. You just go back and forth every now and then and just grind everything up and put it all in your resources. Now here's the amazing thing about this. You can focus on whatever you want to focus on. Let's say you get element dust. You can get a ridiculous amount of element dust. Or if you want metal, you can get a ridiculous amount of metal. Now, some of these things make it a little bit more difficult because you have to actually like transfer things over. But let's say I want to take all my metal, that's 250,000 raw metal, and I want to toss it over here, right? I have a insane amount of metal in here now, and it's just going to keep pumping for me. Now, all you have to do with this farm is put the initial work in like I just told you. And these guys are just going to keep cracking out crystals all day. Now, the one thing about gotchas, and I'm sure you know this, you have to be present in order for them to really drop their crystals. Otherwise, they kind of have a weird render glitch. And you can see how effective this is. These guys are just dropping crystals off their back like there's no tomorrow. It drops, gets picked up, and it's just a never-ending farm. I would set your gotchas to things that are harder to gather, that are a pain in the butt to get, like black pearls, metal, sulfur. Those sorts of things are really useful for gotchas. Or if you don't really care, you can leave them to production and let anything happen and just get a bunch of random resources all over the place, but that's up to you. And that's it. It's that easy. Literally an infinite resources trick. You can call it whatever you want. It's an amazing little trick. I'm going to go ahead and consolidate all of my, you can see that right there. Like you can get a ridiculous amount of resources doing this. And all you have to do is use your transfer tool and you can just start pumping out whatever you want, however you need to do it with this trick. Now, it's a never-ending farm, so once you have this up and running, you can do all that endgame stuff that's super fun that you want to do, slog fest on raid bases, do whatever you need to do. The only thing that you have to do is get a hold of the gotchas that you need, because gotchas pretty much produce every single piece of loot in the game, especially when you have S Plus active. You can just have a wall of resources and change them around to whatever you're needing. Let's say you need more, I don't know, red crystals. You can, or not red crystal, red crystallized sap, which counts as red gems. You can set your gotchas to do that, and then all of a sudden you have 16,000. The only thing that you really need to focus on is you're not going to get any pelt out of this. You're not going to get any some of the basic resources that they don't produce, like some of that up there, cactus sap. But you will get angler gel, because when you break certain things down, you'll get hide, you'll get organic poly at a ridiculous, like, that's 1.2 million organic polymer. You're going to get a ridiculous amount of resources. So you can see it right here. Nothing super special, just a bunch of stuff. You can see this. There's 360,000 wool. Yeah, it's insane. So basically with S+, you can give yourself this unlimited farm. Hopefully this helps. If you'd like to see some more S+ tutorials in the future, some things that'll help you kind of like change how you play, go ahead and let me know. But this is something that I use all of the time, and it's just a fun way to get to endgame and do some of those things you want to do badly quick. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you out, and other than that, teach.